Hello, everyone. It's Mo from Mo in the Deep End, and my furry sidekick is hanging out with the youngest, most feral, who likes to call him Fry, my boy. Good afternoon and evening, or wherever you are. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Eris, for doing all the Maudie things. Thank you, Dennis and Mass and Cindy Lou and AC Wildflower and Fedorowski. We have a bunch of news today, and we are going to get right into it. Body cam footage shows girl rescued from compartment hidden in an Arkansas home's closet. Now, I did notice that this took place in Town, which is because look, I may have dug a little too deep into the Duggar stuff, but Town is where the Duggars are. So, I'm not saying this has anything to do with them, I'm just saying that's how I knew where Town was, or at least vaguely. So, I am saying this is not anything to do with the Duggars, but that is where the Duggars lived. This is from USA Today. So, a Northwest Arkansas man is facing felony charges, including false imprisonment, after police rescue a 5-year-old girl found hidden in a small secret closet of his home. You know what? Thank God they found this child because I can only imagine the absolute grossness that this man was going to do. So, thank God they found this child. And hey, MLS, the rescue captured on police body camera took place Thursday in Town, a city in Washington County, about 12 miles east from the Oklahoma state line. On the day of the rescue, officers with the Town Police Department, thank you so much for gifting memberships. And let me pull that up because I cannot see on this who got the memberships. Uh, so Salty Dog, Lady Autumn Sky, Charlotte, Sarah, and Ziggy Oliver were gifted memberships from Debbie W. So thank you so much. Let me pop this out. Okie dokie. I am on top of things sometimes. So thank you very much, Debbie W. So on the day of the rescue, officers with the Town Police Department responded to the home of a 40-year-old man to serve a search warrant. Detective Keith Lindley told USA Today on Monday. And he has pink carpet. I mean, already guilty for so many reasons. According to the arrest report, the officers were at the home to assist the State Department of Human Services in taking custody of a 5-year-old girl. At the home, the report shows the suspect came to the front window and an officer told him a judge had issued a court order to remove the girl from the home. The suspect told the police the child was not at his home and initially refused to open the door, according to the arrest report. Sir, sir, you are not going to hide a child. Okay. At some point after speaking with the officer, the suspect admitted the girl was inside and allowed officers into the home. While inside, the police wrote in the report they heard noises coming from a bedroom. The suspect entered the bedroom, according to the report, got down on his knees in a closet, then removed several boxes. In the video, the man who was wearing a backwards baseball cap and overalls is seen fiddling underneath clothing inside a small closet. He had her in there with do you know how itchy that junk is? I have had to help Mr. Mo put in fiberglass insulation. That stuff is super itchy, and he had a little child in there. She probably thought it was cotton candy and tried to eat some. For the love of all that is Cheetos. The suspect then pulled a board nailed to the wall. Okay. Quote, to get access to a small space behind the closet, the report continues. Footage then shows the girl eventually emerge from the space. Quote, she was very emotional when she came out and pretty scared, Lindley said. Quote, he had instructed her to not make a sound or reveal she was back there. According to the report, the space the child was confined to behind the wall was 6 to 8 feet at the widest point, going down to 2 to maybe 4 feet at the other. What is wrong with people? The girl was placed into the custody of DHS. The girl, Lindley said, did not appear to be harmed and was placed into DHS custody. At the time of his arrest, the man was out on bond on unrelated charges out of Benton County, located directly north of Washington County. He was on bond in connection for meth stuff, charged from our neighbor city in the north. Police arrested the man on charges of first-degree child endangerment, interference with a court order, custody in connection to the incident. He was booked into the Washington County Jail on Friday, Lindley said, and posted a $5,000 bond Monday morning after appearing in court and entering a not guilty plea. It was not immediately known if the man had obtained an attorney. He is due back in court on December 4th. Well, I think the body cam footage is not gonna work in your favor, sir, when you nailed your child into a small crawl space. But, eh, you play the dice that you have. I don't know that your public defender is gonna be too happy with you, or, whoever you have as your attorney. But okay. I'm sure you did not exercise your right to remain silent. Something tells me you mouthed off a whole lot. In other news, I hope any and all of my viewers in the Texas area are staying safe. And just a reminder to turn off your HVAC system. A Texas chemical plant explosion sparks large fire. Evacuation and shelter in place orders are issued. So, if any of you guys are in Texas, stay safe. You know, uh, keep close eye on your local news. If you get an order to leave, just follow whatever if you trust the government, let's just trust them for a little bit, but I don't know. An explosion has triggered a large fire at a chemical plant in Shepherd, Texas, sending massive plumes of black smoke into the sky. The quote, plant explosion and following chemical fire unfolded Wednesday morning at Sound Resource Solutions, which makes solvent for glue and paint remover. The San Jacinto, look, County Office Emergency Management said Jeff or Jolf Harfield, the president of Sound Resource Solutions, says during a news briefing Wednesday that one employee was injured and being treated for minor burns. He said the company has been a part of the community since 2013 and employs almost 40 people, and all save for the injured employee are home safe. Quote, first responders have done an amazing job. They've been very cautious and they've made sure everyone is safe, he said. The blaze prompted evacuation of a private school on Farm to Market Road, and officials are issued a 5-mile shelter-in-place warning. So, you know, like eh, like I said, you guys use common sense. Please be safe. If you're in Texas, I don't want anyone hurt. I want you all to be safe and have nice, safe lungs. Okay. By 10:30 AM local time, that radius was reduced to 1 mile. So it looks like it went from a 5-mile shelter in place to a 1-mile shelter in place. Officials said in a news briefing at 1 PM local time that the fire was contained. Authorities said that air monitoring is ongoing and so far no chemicals have been detected. Um, Look, I hate to disagree with our government, but that looks pretty much like a whole hell of a lot of chemicals in the air. But I mean, I'm not gonna who am I to disagree with the government? Highway 59 is closed due to the explosion, and locals are urged to use alternate routes. The Polk County Emergency Management Office said that the plume of smoke from the explosion was heading toward the Livingston area and advised locals to shelter in place and turn off HVAC systems in homes and businesses immediately. So please sweat your behinds off. At this time, the effects of chemical in the air are unknown, Polk County officials said. Wait, I thought y'all just said that there were no chemicals in the air. Y'all need to keep your stories straight. You all need to keep your story straight. You said that there were no chemicals in the air. Now you're saying that they're unknown. I just need you to keep your story straight. Welcome, Stray. The Livingston Police Department similarly urged its residents and businesses to shelter in place and turn off air conditioning systems until further notice. The Polk County Emergency Management's office said that the impacted plant houses chemicals known to have, quote, acute toxicity, carcinogenicity, carcinogenicity and reproductive toxicity, and may cause serious eye damage or eye irritation, skin corrosion or irritation, aspiration hazards, or organ toxicity. Well, that seems safe. Well, I think everyone in Texas is going to need an emotional support beverage since they're not allowed to use, uh, well, their HVAC. Yikes. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. Yeah, don't give me big goofy words. I can barely say normal goofy words. So, there you go. Just everyone, if you're in Texas, be safe, use your common sense, listen to people that you trust, and do that kind of thing. In other news, a Titanic menu, a victim's pocket watch are being sold at auction. A rare menu from the Titanic's first class restaurant uh, is being sold at auction this week. The water damage menu shows what the ill-fated ocean liner's most well-to-do passengers ate for dinner on April 11th, 1912, 3 days before the ship struck an iceberg that caused it to sink in the Atlantic Ocean. You would find the one squeaky toy. Within hours. A pocket watch that was owned by a Russian immigrant who died in the catastrophe is also being sold at the same auction Saturday in the UK, along with dozens of other Titanic and transportation memorabilia. The watch was recovered from the body of passenger Sinjai Cantor, 34, who was immigrating on the Titanic to the US with his wife, who survived the disaster at sea, according to the auction house, Henry Aldridge and Son Limited. The Swiss-made watch's movement is heavily corroded from salt water of the Atlantic, but the Hebrew figures on the stained face are still visible. Uh, what was what is the Titanic menu up for option or auction? The menu was discovered earlier this year by a family of Canadian historian Len Stephenson, who lived in Nova Scotia, where the Titanic victims' bodies were taken after being pulled from the water, according to the auction house. Stephenson died in 2017 and his belongings were moved into storage about 6 months ago. His daughter, Mary Anita, and son in law, Alan, found the menu in a photo album from the 1960s, but it wasn't clear how the menu came into Stevenson's possession. Griffin, yeah, quote, sadly, Len has taken the secret of how he acquired this menu to the grave with him. Yeah, probably because he went through dead people's bodies. It's kind of gross. Just saying. Believe me, Bobby, I know. I have well, when the Farrell and Fryma boy get together, they come up with really terrible ideas. I don't know who's the bad influence on each other with the two of them. Has taken the secret of how he acquired this menu to the grave with him, auctioneer Andrew Aldridge said in an article posted on the auction's website. or auction house website. So it looks like they had consommé renaissance, crème de asperges. They had Asperger's cream? Look, I don't know. They apparently had oysters as an hors d'oeuvre. Salmon with hollandaise sauce. Mmm. Actually, none of this looks good. Yeah, Victoria pudding. I don't know what that is, but really none of this looks good. I'd be the one person on the Titanic. "Can I have the chicken fingers with ranch sauce, please?" This is actually the first class, menu. Uh, Anna and boiled new potatoes, pureed of parsnips, sirloin of beef with horseradish cream, roast chicken with bread sauce, unless they mean, like, sweetbreads, which are pancreas and stuff. Squab à la Goddard. Look, I'm just saying again, I'd be the one, "Excuse me, can I have the chicken nuggets and the macaroni and cheese?" Oh, I'd be the one I'd be the new rich, be the new money. The menu has sustained some water damage, but the list of dishes offered, including spring lamb with mint sauce, squab à la Gothard, and apricots, something French, is still eligible. Legible, not eligible. I read English for a living. The auction house said a handful of menus from the night of April 14th, when the Titanic hit the iceberg, still exist, but it can't find another first-class dinner menu from April 11th. Quote, "With April 14th menus, passengers would have still had them in their coat and jacket pockets from earlier on the fateful night, and still have them with them when they were taken off the ship," Aldrich said. The pocket watch is estimated to sell for at least £50,000 or $61,500 in American freedom dollars, and the menu is estimated to sell for £60,000 or 73,800 freedom dollars, according to the auction house. So there you go. Personally, I wouldn't spend that much money, but I think if I have to hear "My Heart Will Go On" one more time, I might root for the iceberg. That being said, it was a tragedy, and I feel bad. Um, in in well, in what in the rapture? That is a great so I love tasting history with Max Miller, and he definitely goes through a lot of the menus, 1st through 3rd class on the Titanic. So if you like history, if you like making food, Max Miller is wonderful, and he does a lot of, the history and research, and he is super funny and just cute as a button, and he's just so sweet, and I there are some things I wouldn't eat even if you paid me, but he takes time and he eats them, and, I love him to death, but there are some things that I just won't make, like the fish sauce, just not gonna make it. But I love him and his little Pokemon that change out. Friberto, do you have a glowing bracelet that you stole? Okay. It's that's I knew that. But yes, he is awesome. In odd ways to die, Arizona woman dies after elk tramples her in backyard. First fatal attack reported in state. Look, y'all, I have been telling you for years that deer are not your friend. Well, 4 months, 5 months. But elk, which are mutant deer, are also not your friends. An Arizona woman has died a week after an elk apparently trampled her at her home in what wildlife officials believe is the first fatal elk attack in state history. The woman's husband found her on the ground in the backyard of their house in Pine Lake community in the Sal, you're gonna have to help me out, I have no idea. In the H Mountains, about 15 miles southeast of Kingman, around 6 PM on October 26th. The Arizona Game and Fish Department, said Tuesday the husband called 911 and paramedics rushed to his wife to Kingman Regional Medical Center before she was transferred to Sunrise Hospital in Las Vegas. The woman was put into a medically induced coma due to the extent of her injuries. The woman, whose name was not released, died on Friday, 8 days after the elk encounter, the wildlife official said. The Clark County Medical Examiner's official ruled her death an accident. Okay, tinfoil hat time, but what? What if the husband put, like, elk bait out and sent his wife out to go get something? And I don't know. I'm just saying, how in the world did this happen? Wildlife officials said that though there were no witnesses to the attack, the woman's husband said her injuries were consistent with being trampled by an elk, and he found a bucket of spilled corn in the yard. Officials also noted multiple elk tracks in the couple's yard. Following the attack, wildlife officials post notices on doors in the neighborhood advising residents not to approach or feed elk. Additional notices and 2 roadside warning signs were posted after the woman died of her injuries. Don't feed. Look, these are wild, dangerous, near deer cousins. And those of us who have been in the Church of Mo realize that deer are always plotting, okay? They are not safe. They are wild animals, and they are always plotting. Do not feed the deer. While wildlife officials believe this is the first fatal elk attack in Arizona, they say there have been 5 reported elk attacks in the state in the past 5 years. Feeding wildlife causes wild animals to become habituated to humans and is one of the main reasons for conflict between the two, according to the agency. Quote, wildlife that are fed by people or get food sources from items such as unsecured garbage or pet food lose their natural fear of humans and become dependent on unnatural food sources. Feeding puts at risk the person doing the feeding, their neighbors, and the wildlife itself. Do not feed the elk. Look, remember, these are scary, scary plotting deer people. Just saying. State wildlife officers will continue to monitor elk activity in the area. So, if you live in Arizona, watch out for mutant deer or elk, whatever you'd like to call them. I call them mutant deer. In other news, it was not smooth sailing for these cruise passengers. Videos showing horrifying moments ship passengers feared for their lives. Tables were flying. Around 100 people were injured Saturday when a cruise ship off the coast of the United Kingdom entered rough seas. Saga Cruise Spirit of Discovery ship encountered treacherous conditions Saturday in the UK's Bay of Biscay. The vessel's automatic safety systems were activated, shifting the boat from one side before it came to a stop, according to the BBC. A spokesperson for Saga Cruises told the outlet that the ship docked on Monday in Portsmouth, adding that nearly 100 people suffered minor injuries during the ship's maneuver. The spokesperson said that 5 people were transported to area hospitals once on land. The ship had embarked on a 14-day cruise to the Canary Islands, which left on October 24th with around 1,000 people aboard before the cruise staff made the decision to turn around and head back to the UK. However, one passenger told the BBC that the situation was dire. Other people said they, quote, feared for their lives. Quote, to say minor injuries is an insult to the many horrific broken bones, pelvises, lacerations, stitches, etc., that were caused to very old passenger clientele. The passenger said, people writing texts to their loved ones in case we capsized. Y'all, just when I thought I was going to like going on a cruise. Quote, "The tone of voice in our captain, he was physically scared. We had crew crying. We had many passengers in awful states of fear," the passenger added. Jane Bendall, a passenger on the ship, told the BBC that the captain came over the speaker system and told the passengers to remain seated or lie down. One passenger, Emma Danbury, provided Fox News Digital with a video from her cabin showing waves hitting the ship. Okay, guys, it's a cruise ship and you're in really dan we have seen the Titanic, right? Okay. Bendel said the ship was at a standstill for about 15 hours during the storm, adding that her husband and herself were holding on for dear life. A portion of the dining room was converted into a makeshift medical area, Bendel said, adding that passengers were asked to remain in their cabins for a portion of Saturday and all of Sunday. Alan Grisdale, a passenger on the ship, said, quote, tables were flying with waves, quote, throwing people all around up and down the place. So, I I mean, I can no doubt that this was very, very scary. In a statement to the BBC, Saga said there was, quote, "very limited damage to fixtures inside the ship, but it remained, quote, safe at all time. While the weather was clearly beyond our control, we want to offer our sincere apologies to all those affected who are now safely on their way home in calmer seas," the spokesperson said. "Please don't sue us," they said. CYA, cover your behind. A good time was had by all. Here's a voucher for your next cruise. Please don't please don't sue us. Fox News Digital reached out to Saga Cruises for comment, and it looks like they haven't returned any comments yet. So, yeah, I mean, I am sure that this was really, really scary, and it definitely makes me change my mind about going to a cruise. Not gonna lie. Let's see if the video let me invigonate it. There won't be sound or not. Ugh. Okay, well, no. I mean, you guys, it's not like they can do anything about the weather. A river cruise may be a better way to start for me now. I wanna go on an Alaska cruise, but, I have seen the crab fishing thing, and I am not about that life. Let's see. Influencer Luana and Andriade, 29, dies following liposuction complications. Look, ladies, she is beautiful. I know that we all are sometimes self-conscious, but this was a beautiful woman, and I'm very sad that she passed away. An Instagram influencer from Brazil tragically passed away during a liposuction procedure in Sao Paulo on Wednesday. The 29-year-old, whose last post saw her smiling at her favorite gym, went to into cardiac arrest during the surgery. She was transferred into the intensive care unit for treatment, but died soon afterwards from a pulmonary embolism. Her boyfriend of 2 years, this name, Mr. Haddad, who is also an influencer, posted the news on Instagram where he described himself as destroyed. I can only imagine. Sharing a black and white image of himself and Luana strolling through Paris, beaming at each other, he penned, quote, "I am torn and living my worst nightmare. A piece of me is gone." Where was she gonna liposuction? This woman was beautiful. Look, she looked beautiful. I know that we're all self-conscious. I wish does he have a mullet? Oh my gosh, I need no squirrels. No squirrel, pay attention, Mo. I wish that we were in a society where you didn't feel like you had to be beyond perfect. That woman is like goals right there for a lot of us. So, it is sad that, unfortunately, she felt very uncomfortable in herself. So, I do feel bad for her and for her or her boyfriend, although I'm still trying to work out if he has a mullet or if that's just his jacket. And I hope he gets the support and help he needs. I wish that she felt as confident as she looks in her pictures because I feel like, unfortunately, she didn't realize how attractive she was and she kept wanting to go, better. And sadly, that's something that, can be really dangerous. So I feel bad for her boyfriend. I hope her family is getting the support and love that they need. And unfortunately, you know, in the quest to, be perfect, sometimes you do dangerous things. In a follow-up to one of our stories, um, if you all remember the funeral home that was going to compost you in a safe and humane and carbon neutral way, well, but they just seem to have stacked the bodies on top of each other. Well, these are the 2 that are responsible for that, so let's read up on that. Funeral home owners who allegedly harbored at least 189 dead bodies and gave families fake ashes have been arrested. Authorities arrested the owners of a funeral home after they were accused of improperly storing at least 189 bodies and even giving a number of families fake ashes, as you do. John Halford, 43, and Carrie Halford, 46, are in the Muskogee County Jail in Oklahoma awaiting extradition to the El Paso County or to El Paso County in Colorado. Prosecutors in the Centennial State announced charges on Wednesday of abuse of a corpse, theft, money laundering, and forgery. And he has the most Jim Brewer eyes outside of Jim Brewer. I'm just saying. This debacle emerged in early October when locals in Penrose, Colorado noted an awful smell emerging from the property linked to the Halford-owned funeral home Return to Nature. According to a related lawsuit, John Halford tried to pass off the stench as a result of his taxidermy hobby. I can definitely see him doing Civil War reenactment squirrels. Definitely. However, the Colorado Bureau of Investigation claims to have found at least 189 bodies at the facility. Authorities were not too sure. They warned that the number could change as the investigation and the process of identifying the victims continued. Some families have stepped forward to claim that they paid Return to Nature to cremate their loved ones. Instead, the company allegedly gave them fake ashes. Holy for the love of rapture, what is going on with these people? The aforementioned lawsuit filed by Richard Law on behalf of his dead father, Roger, alleges that the owners gave loved ones, quote, "counterfeit ashes" and falsified death certificates. Quote, "They knew what they were doing was disgusting, but they kept doing it," end quote. Plaintiff attorney Andrew Swan previously told Law and Crime. Other loved ones who have stepped forward have also cast skepticism on the so called ashes they received. Four families who have spoken to the Associated Press said the material seemed like dry concrete. For the love of all that is unholy, you two are going straight to Snake Island. One of the relatives, Tanya Wilson, told KDRO about doing side by side testing in which she mixed water separately with Quikrete and the so called ashes that supposedly belonged to her mother, Young Anderson. Quote, "The reaction looked very, very similar, and the consistency and everything," Wilson told KDRO. Quote, "Then when it dried into little teeny rocks, very, very similar. It gave me confirmation that I believe it's concrete." It's worth mentioning that the Halfords' cash woes in light or worth mentioning the Halfords' cash woes in light of the money-related charges. The couple owes more than $21,000 to Wilbert Funeral Services. According to another lawsuit covered by KRDO, Kenny and Company, a real estate agency, sued the Halfords, saying the couple owe more than $97,000 for rent, damages, and other charges. Yeah, they are never going to be able to redo that. Let me see if they had a picture of the. Anyway, they are never going to be able to resell or re-rent that joint where they had the bodies just liquefying. No way. So, yeah, they definitely are gonna owe that. Carrie Halford also had thousands in debt with the State Department of Revenue. So, yeah, these people are way gross. Um, I cannot believe he tried to sell this as taxidermy smell, although I still think that he definitely has Civil War reenactment, squirrels that he taxidermied, and I bet he has an Etsy shop somewhere. In sad news, well, more sad news, and I do know a little bit about this person because cults are a big thing here. Not a whole lot, but I do know a little bit. Former Colts Super Bowl champion offensive lineman Matt Ulrich is dead at 41. Former Colts offensive lineman and Super Bowl champion Matt Ulrich died at the age of 41, according to Colts owner Jim Irsay. Quote, "I am heartbroken to hear of the passing of Matt Ulrich," Irsay posted on X on Wednesday morning. "Matt was with us only 2 seasons, but he left his mark on many. Great guy. I hear he was a great dad. He was a Super Bowl champ. My prayers are with the family." Ulrich signed with the Colts as an undrafted agent and played with them in 2005 to 2006, winning a Super Bowl ring following Indianapolis's win over the Bears in a Super Bowl. Look, I don't know sports ball, but I mean, apparently he was a really good guy, according to this. Let's see here. This was, well, that's what Jim Irsay, you just read that. Quote, "Again, seeing the confetti come down Colts color and being able to hold the Lombardi trophy, everyone being on the field, I had to remind myself to take one moment for myself. It was good advice I got from someone that if you win, take that last moment to look back at the tunnel and just look at the scoreboard, look at the field, and just know you're at the pinnacle of sports," Ulrich told MontanaSports.com in 2019. "That's quite an awesome feeling." The former Northwestern captain played 10 games across 2 seasons with Indianapolis, 5 in each season, which marked his only 2 seasons in the NFL. Quote, "I'd love to tell you that I could have played for another decade, but the fact of the matter is, I've probably said this to you before, that the NFL stands for not for long. I was a guy who had to beat out a draft pick in 2005 and beat out another draft pick in 2006, Ulrich told MontanaSports.com. Quote, "We won the Super Bowl that year, the 2007 Super Bowl 41. We went on to have another season in the NFL Europe and came on training camp with the Colts, and I just knew those roster spots are so slim. I tell the athletes I work with, I have something past football. Ulrich eventually landed in Montana and was listed as a chief growth officer and partner with PIE. His PIE bio said he was also a player advisor for the Harvard Football Players Health Study, and he received education certifications from Stanford in strategic marketing management and from Harvard Business School in leading professional service firms. I don't know what PIE is. Pie? I I okay, so it's Profitable Ideas Exchange. So he seemed like a pretty good guy all around, and I'm so sorry for his wife. I know that a lot of people are have lost people this week, and, I hope his wife is getting all the help that he needs. I hope that his kids are getting all the help they need. Believe me, sudden passings are they just suck donkey balls. They really do. So, to wrap things up, don't hide your kid in a crawl space. You are not Harry Potter. You are not Uncle Dursley. Do not do this. You will get caught. Stop it. If you are in Texas, please, please, please be safe. Please be, please use your common sense. Listen to whomever you feel comfortable with. Have, you know, use common sense. I want you to be safe. This thing looks like a big bad mess of all the chemicals. And yes, I know the Colts may have, left in the middle of the night, like dad going out for cigarettes and never coming home. We're sorry about that. You can have them back. I mean, I have no personal care about it, so you can have them back. If you'd like the Titanic menu or a stopwatch, I hope you have at least 100K because they're starting about at, 60 or 70K. So get your monies out if you'd like to have some things taken off of dead bodies because it looks like people just went through, Alberta dead bodies. Just saying, it's a whole lot creepy, but it seems like they went through just pocketing bodies, all right? That's what it looks like. In other news, do not feed the mutant elk. Okay, do not feed elk. Elk are mean. Elk are bad. Elk are scary. They are always plotting. Do not feed the elk. Do not go to on cruise ships during, cyclone season. Just throwing that out there. But also, you know, hopefully everyone is safe and there were no major injuries. And if there were, hopefully you know, the cruise company will pay for those injuries so that there are not major medical bills along with your cruise ship. This woman was perfect. I don't know why she needed liposuction. Please, dear Lord, you know, maybe Instagram and having to be super de duper perfect is a terrible thing, and we should remind our girls that they're more than just a cute behind and a size on their jeans. Maybe we should remind them that they're not all about their looks, boys too, but we should remind them that definitely what's on the inside counts too, and trying to reach for perfection, uh, can be dangerous. These 2 schmucks apparently just, piled up bodies, didn't pay any of their bills, and sent concrete to people instead of ashes. Now, this dude apparently tried to say that it was his taxidermy, but, yeah. So, we're not quite sure how many victims there are because they let the bodies liquefy. I cannot with these people directly to Snake Island for the Jim Brewer Eyes Man and 19 the early aughts eyebrows, okay? We're done. Both of you have committed all the disgustingness. I'm done. And sadly, we lost, a former Colts player. I hope that his wife and children are getting all the support that they need. I know that, you know, these are not the greatest times to lose someone. It is a sucky club, and I hope they have, help and, look, this is the Midwest. You know they are gonna have casseroles out the yang, okay? So, hopefully someone is taking them some casseroles. Someone is, over there just sitting and holding their hands and doing that kinda stuff. But that is the nightly Newsy news, the news you never knew you never needed. I will be back in the morning with Mornings with Mo and Fry, and then I guess we will be, on Verdict Watch, day 2, I believe, for Maya, or day 3. Look, this week has been somewhat of a blur, I'm not going to lie to you guys. So, there will be more Maya, Verdict Watch, I think, but for all the only thing I know is that I will be doing Newsy News at 9. So, I'll catch you all then, and I will hopefully have some more Newsy news with you guys to do, and don't forget, I will try to hammer out a specific time, but this weekend, we will have, one of the writers of the amicus brief. I will be doing an interview with her for the Delphi case to the Supreme Court, so, we will be getting a lot of information from her, well, as much as she can tell us currently, but thank you so much for mods and chat, and I hope you have a wonderful evening. You know what? Tomorrow is a new day, and we will have a good day. Everyone stay safe, and you know what? It's almost we're one day closer to Friday. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a wonderful day or evening or wherever you are, whatever time it is, whatever time loop you're in. Have a great one, and I will see you in a little bit. Bye, guys.